Hi, I'm Tracy Stilettos of SCGTV. I am here with Terry Pickering, CEO and founder of Gynesis Radio. The first thing I want to do is say thank you, Terry, for allowing us this platform. I am here for the AVP3 Roundtable Union Talk. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Dean Smith, and I'm here for the AVP3 Roundtable Union Talk.
My name is Julian Blair. I'm here for the AVP3 Roundtable Union Talk.
And my name is Todd Bass, and I'm here for the same.
My name is Joe Bocek. I work at Amazon, AVP3. We're here to talk about United.
All right, sounds wonderful, guys. Okay, so I think the first thing we want to do is basically identify what a union is. So guys, just jump in.
Well, a union is a body of people that come together, the workers of a particular place, that want to have a voice and have a say-so about how they're treated and the benefits and good faith in negotiating a collective bargaining contract that will give them a better quality of life, in a nutshell.
Yes. Anyone want to elaborate on that?
And Dean, could you explain exactly, once the union is formed, what is a employee formed union?
Well, it's pretty much the same thing. Employee formed unions is everyone coming together and having a voice with concerns and issues and being able to address those concerns and issues and not be afraid to, and have the representation to be able to do those things as well. And most importantly, to be able to do things that's going to benefit them as far as wages concerned, benefits, health, and injuries and things of that nature. So it goes a lot longer than that, but that's a nutshell answer for you.
Well, a lot of people I spoke to, they're so concerned about the union dues.
Okay.
How would that be based? What would that be based upon?
Well, union dues is based upon the collaboration of the workers saying what they want to put in as a union dues. Of course, if you deal with the national unions, there's a $11 union due that goes to them, and then you on top of that, you may have $11 union due on that, which every 2 months come out to about $22 every 2 weeks. But if you're making $30 an hour, then it roughly comes in a little bit around 50 cents on a dollar. On an hour, excuse me. And then from that point there, the union dues is more beneficial for you because then you have legal protection. There's a bunch of things that goes with those union dues. The members get to vote on what that money's used for. That money can start a banking type of scenario, whereas you can actually use money to help you get things and do things better in life.
Yeah.
And plus, as a group, we all decide what to use that.
Exactly.
I think that's important what Joe is saying. Yeah,
Exactly.
that the union dues is voted upon the union, the committee, once the union is formed, and the committee consists of the workers. So we establish what the union dues would be, and we agree and we vote upon everything. So
we also know that money in general gives you power. So if you have the money, then you can pay for the things necessary to meet your objective. And everything is in good faith. Everything is good faith.
And also the employees will elect their officials.
that is correct.
The employees vote on everything. The employees are the ones that make up the union. So the voice of the employees is what matters. They're the ones that say what's going to happen. They're the ones that get into the collective bargaining for the benefits and all things that have to do with the activity of the union and the money.
Correct. So what I want to get into is, as we're forming this union, what are our objectives? Do you want to speak on that?
Well, the objective is actually fairness for one. That's
Right.
one of the objectives.
Mhm.
Health issues in terms of injury, safety, pertaining to not from the point of safety standards and rules, but when my foot get a cramp, when my knee gets a cramp, my leg gives out, or when I pull a ligament, or when I get a headache, or I stand on my feet so long that the oxygen level goes down in my system. So there's all kinds of health issues that are not even talked about that comes from standing on your feet for a long time, as an example,
Right,
let alone lifting heavy stuff.
right,
And it just gives everyone a voice.
yes,
Everyone has an input in how their environment is formed and, you know, what's happening when they're at work.
absolutely, absolutely.
And another thing that I love about it is you'll have somebody outside of your manager to speak to.
Most
Yes.
importantly,
Yes.
what happens in that, this is why Amazon doesn't want a union, is because they lose the actual control to do whatever they want to do with you, whenever they want to do it. Everything has to go through a due process once it happens. For example, if you're accused of something, they got to have just cause. They can't just say that and then give you this punishment, so to speak, a penalty, so to speak, and you can't do anything about it, which happens almost every day,
Yes,
such as off task and things of
Yes.
that nature. So there's a lot of things that they won't be able to do in terms of controlling and manipulating your life. You know, you'll have some kind of sanity in your life itself and respect as a person.
right. So yeah, another objective would be, which I think is at the top of everybody's list, basically would be wages. As far as objectives, Amazon employees are grossly underpaid. And that is a big issue.
Well, for the amount of work we do and the type of work we do,
Mhm. Yes,
the wages definitely do not match up with our efforts.
correct.
And the revenue we produce for them just by our labor.
Billions.
Billions,
Yeah.
billions, yes, yes, this is true. Yeah, so wages,
And it just needs to be a little bit more equitable, you know. Why are we starving and everyone else is feasting?
But one point I want to bring out also is that a lot of people don't know what sector that the workforce at Amazon falls under. It falls under the mailing business. A lot of people don't realize that, but it falls under the mailing business. Look at what happens. An order is placed, that order is processed, and then it's delivered to the doorstep of the home, just like mail. So whether it's UPS or FedEx or whatever the case may be, it has its own transport and it drops that mail off to your door. So it's no delivery. So from that point there, Amazon is a mail delivery service.
okay. Okay, so I think we have some people are having issues logging on, so, okay. Technical difficulty, but we'll,
And what would be a fair wage for us?
well, a fair wage, we would probably start,
Well,
I would say around what, 33?
yeah, 30. Well,
33?
the average for postal is around $33 an hour.
Correct.
Plus, the thing is, of course, we have to build up to that. And this is one thing we got to keep in mind, and with people, when you are dealing with an area where wages are actually averaging around $10 an hour, and that's considered to be a decent wage in the area, and then a place like Amazon comes in and they offer you $16 an hour, that's like a slice of bread to you. It's like, oh wow, $16 an hour, but you're way under the poverty line. And the other thing is you got to keep in mind is that you still can't pay your bills.
Right. It just really simply doesn't make any sense that you would work 10 hours a day and then still have to
You may have a
get
call.
another job. Okay. Hi, thank you for calling Gynesis Radio.
Hello, someone there? Okay, feel free to call.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, so it's very important to understand that, yes, we would ask with the postal service, with it falling under the postal service, or we would probably ask for 33 to start. And just to make it very clear that, if they were to give us what we're asking for, that represents only 2% of Amazon's profit.
Can I
Right.
interject real
That's
quick?
insane.
Just for anyone that wants to call in, you can call in live with us at 888-304-4401. That's 888-304-4401. You're welcome to join our conversation for our AVP3 Roundtable Union Talk.
Yes.
And
Yes.
any questions you have, we're more than willing to try to answer them for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, continuing this conversation about forming the union, what are some of the concerns that you've heard from other employees regarding a union for ABP three?
One of the things, people don't realize that they have the right to form a union or participate in union activity because of the at-will law or ability of a company to just fire you just at will. Well, what happened is that there's a settlement letter that was actually by the National Labor Relations Board that was a charge against Amazon, and Amazon had to agree to the settlement letter, which is basically a restraining order forbidding them or prohibiting them from harassing or intimidating or threatening or any of those things against anyone that wants to participate in union activity. This is a law that's coming out of Washington, D.C.
So right, so I find that the majority of people or a lot of people have a fear based on not being educated on their rights to form a union. So have you experienced?
Oh, yes. Every time we've had a campaign to hand out flyers and talk to fellow employees from different ships, I've experienced a lot of apprehension from them about, oh, my manager's over there. I can't accept that
Correct.
paper you're trying to give me. And I try to explain to them, well, I'm also an employee here.
Mhm.
They're not bothering me because they know they cannot by law.
Correct.
That's
And
all.
I try to explain that to them, and hopefully, we're getting through.
Well, what we're finding out is that anytime someone says something like whether it's a manager or a supervisor, whether it's an AM or a PA, when they go to someone and tell them, hey, don't sign anything, if you participate in union things, there's going to be consequences, we need to be able to tell them that's illegal and you're violating the law. And if you say anything else to me, it's harassment. And once you do that to them, they won't bother you. And that's why they don't bother you, Joe. And that's why they don't bother me.
Okay, Ty.
You have a lot of people there, a lot of men there, that's just giving out false information. Purposely just giving out false information. I spoke to him a couple of times about it. It's just my opinion. But it's just false. It's just outright just misleading people for no reason.
Okay, Ty, I believe we have a phone call here. Hello, thank you for calling Gynesis Radio, ABP 3, Roundtable Union Talk. Who am I speaking with?
Hello,
Hello.
I'm speaking with Davis. I'm calling to listen. We got a bad connection.
You said there is a bad connection, you said?
Yes.
We can hear you clear. We need to speak up louder. Is that what you're saying?
I know it's a lot of noise on this end. I'm gonna try to call back in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Betty.
Yeah. So the key thing is that what we have to not be afraid of is when these managers come and say something to us, anything, we have to let them know that they're harassing us. And this false information is a part of the anti-union campaign that's going on. They refer to them as union busters. But a lot of these people have promises, false promises, that if you do this, we look out for you, favoritism, things of that nature. And that's just the nature of the beast. That's going to happen. You're going to have some people that's going to be on the side of their friends or on the side of maybe I get this position that I put in for. And, the thing is, we have to understand people are going to take advantage of the opportunities that's going to enhance their life. So,
Yes, that's true. So I think the concern is like what Joe was saying. We all understand that here. You understand it, your rights, and you stand up for your rights. Therefore, if you are approached by a manager and or supervisor, you're going to speak up about it because you're aware of your rights. For others, like Joe said, even informing them of their rights, they still have this level of fear
that's
to
a good
where
point.
they
That's a
still
good
have
point. That's good.
they still have this level of fear. So the question really becomes for the union, as far as the union committee, how do you break that barrier amongst the people once you have provided them with a document that is a legal document and they still are fearful? How do you break that barrier?
Well, I think some people don't really understand the magnitude of it and they don't understand how it works. So I think that if we start talking about Why are people afraid? What's happening that they're afraid? What are the consequences that they think are going to happen? Are people going to stand up behind them? One of the things that I know that I made very clear is that when something happens to one individual, any individual, we need multiple people to stand up and be a witness for those individuals. If indeed someone says something to you, do a harassment complaint. Write in Amazon, do a harassment complaint, call safety over, do a harassment complaint, take your phone and scan the document with your phone, because anything that you sign, you have the legal right to have a copy to it. No, you're not taking a picture, you're using your phone as a scanning device. So they can't tell you, oh, you can't take pictures in Amazon. No, you're using it as a scanner,
Yes. Okay, so what are some of the challenges you've experienced as far as information, giving information to people receiving
It's
it?
pretty much the same like everyone else is talking about, because it's just that underground fear that everyone has that there's something that's going to happen to them and they're going to lose their job. That's the only thing they see. They're
Correct.
going to lose their job, so they just have to either remain silent or just kind of like blow you off so that they, don't lose.
It should be more evident that when we were out there doing a leaflet, handing out leaflets and standing in front of Amazon with our Amazon t-shirts on, and management came out and they asked us to stand in front of the door and said, we know you want to talk to your co-workers and all that, we just want you to be safe, we don't want you to get hit by any passing by cars, so just stand in front of the door so you be safe. The evidence of that alone, because they know, but see, they also know who to do that with and who not to. So they will try you, because we had a situation where at nighttime they had security come out and act as a lead, until I told him it was illegal and what he was doing was harassment. And then I challenged him. I said, well, whoever that manager is that told you to tell us that we can't stand out here and talk, tell him to come out here. And the manager did eventually come out there, but he came out there with saying, we just want to make sure you guys are safe. So just stand on the sidewalk. We want to make sure you guys are safe. Because they're going to have to change it, because it's illegal. It's illegal outright. And they know that they're dealing with people that will file the charges against them.
Correct. So what were you going to say, Todd?
It's just a lot of people, a lot of employees there. They're afraid if they were to stand for the union, that their friends and might look at them differently.
Well, that's going to happen.
Okay.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that perspective.
And that's going to happen because the whole thing is this here. Then ask their friends to give them difference in their pay, and then you'll be satisfied.
There
Yes.
you go. There you go.
Because quite frankly, management is underpaid as well, but we won't go there.
Well, that's a whole different story. Like
Yeah,
you said,
we won't go
management
there.
is dealing with their own issues actually in reality, and
Correct.
we found that out too. How they're treated and how they got to deal with whatever it is. I had a manager say to me directly, but I don't want to lose my job, so I have to tell the people this because this is what they're telling me to tell them, not to sign any documents, and be careful what you do with your signature because there can be some consequences. The consequences that can happen is you get $30 an hour or plus and get better benefits and live a better life. That's some great consequences.
Well, the truth is, this movement is not against management. It's
No.
not against the supervisors. This movement is a fight basically for the employees, for a better quality of life, for better work conditions, fair work conditions, just fundamental quality of life issues with the corporation, not the managers. So this is not a battle between us and them. If that is created, it's created by the managers on behalf of Amazon because they don't know any better. And there's also intimidation factors there that Amazon is using.
This is similar to an equal rights movement in essence, as an analogy, to where you're trying to get some kind of compensation for your self-value and self-worth.
Right.
Here it is, I say that Amazon's like a big spider. What they do is they suck all the insides out of you, leave your carcass, and they get somebody else or hire somebody else to suck the insides out, leave their carcass, but you're left with nothing, and Amazon's still getting billions, but meanwhile you're injured, you're sick, and they don't care.
Right. And I just want to quote something from this leaflet here, and it says here, the question is a vote for our union a vote against Amazon? So that basically is what I was just saying. But we're gonna hold on a minute because we have a caller. Hi, this is Tracy Stilettos on Genesis Radio for ABP3 Round Talk Union.
Hi, Tracy. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
yes, I can. Who am
My
I?
name is Sue Fahey. My name is Sue Fahey. I live in Jersey.
Hi,
And
Suzanne.
I have a question. Hi. I'm all for unions. So I'm like right behind you guys and gals because I think it's a disgrace that Amazon is not paying their employees more. And I had a question about what is the cap on it? Like how much now do the Amazon employees can go up to that they don't put a cap on it? Do you have that information?
That's a great,
Great question.
that's great.
And we
It
do.
varies from location because I believe the cap is after a certain amount of years, it's $22.50.
Yeah, something like that, $22.
I think that's for the associate workers, $22.50. You can't make no more than that.
So if I understand you correctly, you could be there 15 or 20 years and it's still going to be 22 or 23.
Well,
Correct.
I'm
No,
gonna give you,
that's
That's ridiculous. That's,
Yes.
yeah,
that's terrible.
I'm gonna give you a better answer than that. There's some people that's been there for 10 years and somebody come on making more money than them because of the promo that they're putting out and the bonuses that they're putting out.
Correct.
Wow. Well, I had that on my mind. I wanted to ask that question. And I just have to say bravo for you guys and gals
Thank
that
you.
are on this and going after, because it takes a lot of guts and courage what you're doing.
Thank you so
And
much.
as just a regular person, I'm very proud of all of you.
Thank
And I
you.
wish you well, and you're in my prayers.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
God
We
bless you.
appreciate your
Thank you.
feedback. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And you know, another sad thing about this is when they reach that peak of that 22, whatever it is, right? That inflation goes up,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Every year, inflation goes up.
That's it, that
Sure.
worked.
What can Amazon do with their products?
Right,
They raise their prices.
right,
But you're still
right.
stuck where you was at 10 years ago.
That's correct.
That's
Well, it's like the,
horrible.
Speak up.
That's
so,
horrible.
mhm.
I'm gonna bring another point out with that. I did a little number thing because I do that, and I just use it on a product that costs $1,000, and I use it as if order picker, which is required to do 24 pieces an hour, right? And with that, it comes to 240 pieces a tour for 10 hours, right? And it came out to roughly about each pick that you do comes out to about 73 cents that you get for each pick of something that may cost $1,000. And that's what makes up. So if you do the math and you say $1,000 at 240 picks, that's 240,000. But yet you get $172.
Yeah, it's most like the caller said, it's a
Yeah.
disgrace.
I understand capitalism and I get it. But you know, the thing is that people can't even pay their bills. They're leaving from this location to work another job. How do you do that after 10 hours and 12 hours of work?
Yeah, right.
Standing on your feet, 15-minute break, and then they tell you scan, which means technically they want you to have 1 minute of break. And then if you don't get back in time, they say you're off task. That needs to stop.
Well, that's one of the things that we also need to address, just the amount of hours that you work and the actual, like you said, time off tax that you actually get. It's not compatible with you being a productive employee.
That is
Let's
correct.
just clarify time
Yes.
off task. I believe time off task 3 times you can get fired after that. Is that correct? About 3 times, 4
I'm not
times?
sure about that.
Well, I know
Yeah.
it's 3 or 4 write-ups, then they can fire you. You know, the thing is about union activity. Let me make this clear to the listeners and for all the associate workers or ABP workers, Amazon workers. The whole key thing is if indeed you are doing your job and this time off task thing comes into play and they go to write you up and you tell them that you are injured or you're not feeling well because of standing on your feet, they must accommodate you. They must accommodate you. Call safety over and do an incident report.
Right, right. So, yeah, because that's very important. But one of the things that I did want to say before we had the call come in, and it has to do with the union. So is a vote for our union against Amazon. And I had kind of addressed that, saying that we are not against management. We are fighting basically for us, but not against someone else.
Oh,
So I'll
exactly.
just read,
Yeah.
right, so it says, we are not. A vote for the union is a vote to exercise our legal right to form a union and have a real, powerful, and meaningful say in our jobs. And that's really what the people want. That's all they want is better work conditions and to have a say. So that would allow us to go to the bargaining table and negotiate a fair scenario for all.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out real quick to Detroit Amazon out there. They're working hard with their campaigns going on out there. They're doing a great job. The amount of employees they have there is in the thousands, and they have some serious issues out there. And other Amazons across the nation is also. I have spoken to many employees from other Amazons in North Carolina, California, South Carolina, Georgia. And it's all the same thing. But the thing is that at some point it's going to come to a head if we come together and we become union as people's voice, which would make a difference if we come together and not be afraid. Because again, once you are doing union activity, they can no longer fire you because you're participating in union. They have to have just cause.
Correct.
And people have to understand they must have just cause to fire you. It's no longer at will. And if they do, charges to be filed, and there's a lawsuit happening with that.
Correct.
And one question I was brought up, what exactly is collective bargaining?
Collective bargaining is basically everybody coming together, putting what they want on the table pertaining to what they feel the benefits should be. Also, the company itself talking about what their benefits would be and how we can work things out and balance things out between the company and the workers for a satisfactory contract.
Right. So,
which is a good paid contract.
We have a caller. Hello, I'm Tracy Stilettos here on Gynesis Radio for ABP 3 Union Roundtable Talk. Who am I speaking to, please?
You're speaking with Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
So what would
Good,
you,
y'all.
yes. So, what is it? You have a question for us or a comment?
I'm calling to listen in,
Oh, okay.
and then I'll ask questions as y'all go along.
All right, well, you can't stay on the line. I think, have you had the ability to go to the actual link and listen to the radio broadcast?
No, actually, I can't. I tried to click on that link and it's not letting me get in.
All right, what about website?
You know, I went on the website because I just got it through my friends and I can't get through. The only thing I can do is call.
All right, give us your phone number. Do you have a actual cell phone number? We get your phone number, and we have one of the directors here to text you a link.
I have it. It's on the caller ID. Is that your number? The one that I don't want to give it on the air, but it is a.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, so is that a cell phone
Yes, it is.
that you can receive a text, right?
Yes, I can.
All right, we will have the director or one of the people here to actually send you the link. All right, because we need the phone line for people to call in.
Right. Okay.
Okay, because it's a very bad connection. It's just clicking in here. It's driving me crazy.
Okay. All right, Betty. We'll take care of that. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. So, continuing on. Okay, so what is collective bargaining? I just want to read what we have on this leaflet. We have common questions and answers. So just on the heels of Mr. Smith here is, so once we win an election, and Amazon by law must bargain in good faith with our union over everything to do with work, including wages, benefits, safety, seniority, bidding, and much more. So the term bargaining in good faith is an enforceable legal standard, not mere words. So that's essentially what it is. And they would be forced to sit at the bargaining table and bargain with us. So yes, you also, that's having to do with that question. Also, anybody else want to talk about things that could, how about things that concern you guys directly? Why do you want a union? Let's talk about why we want a union. What concerns you?
I said one of the things that we also need to address is the training at Amazon.
Okay, there you go. Very good point.
You know, I don't think that there's any real structure in their training. It's because from shift to shift and different people, the way they go about it, the information is not given in a structured manner.
I do
Good
agree with
point.
you. I think what happens with Amazon is you get a basic idea of what the area does, and then you go for it, you know. And then anything that is unsafe, as you learn as you go on, because of the injury you get. And then they say, you're not supposed to lift it that way, so we have puddles. And then they give you these videos that have these animated things that will show you how to squat down and stand up. And the fact of the matter, if you do it multiple times,
Right,
what'll happen is you're gonna get injured anyway.
right. Jillian, go on.
Well, I'm saying, you know, I mean, I know at our site, there's no real training team.
Correct,
There's different people that do it and everybody does it a different way.
right.
And it varies the amount of information that you actually get depending on who your trainer is.
This is very true, and I'm glad you brought that point up because it is an issue that would be brought up at the table for the collective bargaining, is that training is an issue or lack thereof. The training that Amazon provides is not sufficient. Is not sufficient. So that is a concern, and that is amongst other things why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing. We have wages, we have the training is insufficient. Amazon technically doesn't even have sick time. Technically, they do not have sick time.
They definitely do not have sick time, and that to me is also one of the issues that was brought up. A number of people that, you know, it's not that you are deathly ill, but you're too sick to come to work, but you don't have any time.
Correct.
All right, real quick, let me interrupt you. We need
Yes.
the director to tell people how to look at us on Facebook because it is live on Facebook.
That's right. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and on Instagram right now. If you go to Facebook or Instagram and search Gynesis Radio, Gynesis Radio, you should find the group, and the group's open, it's public, and you would see everybody on the camera right there. It's being broadcast live right there. And you can also go to either link that you were given, or you can go to the website, GenesisRadio.com. Look to the upper left corner. There is a button that says listen now or a play button with the arrow. Just tap it and you can listen to live. You won't see us, but you can hear us. But if you go to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or what else is on here? Even YouTube, you'll be able to see us live right now.
Thank you, Terry, for that. And for those of you who would like to call in with questions or comments, would like to join us in the conversation, you can reach us at 888-304-4401. So we do invite you to call in and join the conversation, either with a question and or comment. Thank you.
Also, this is available for reviewing later on as well. So it is recorded for reviewing later on.
Yes. Yes. So,
In fact, when you leave here, I'm going to give you the audio that you can pass along to anybody who didn't have opportunity to listen. You'll have the audio,
that's
and
great.
if you got a flash drive with you, I can also give you the video to put on your flash drive.
So we'll work that out.
That's cool. That's awesome. Okay. So we're going to continue with AVP3 Roundtable Union Talk here. Okay, so we've already gone over some of the concerns that Amazon or Amazonians or Amazon employees have with the unfair work conditions, the wages, the lack of training, the insufficient training. What else would you like to talk about regarding?
Go ahead.
Well, one thing I would like to bring up is to everybody listening out there is we are not anti-Amazon.
Thank you.
We do care about Amazon and our jobs. We
Yes.
just want a better say and be more involved in our jobs and in decision making that concerns us as workers.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. That was a very good point. That's really important to say that.
And better pay.
What we are
Oh,
better
and
pay.
definitely better pay.
Better pay and safer conditions. That's the main
Right, and that's what we were talking about,
Yeah.
the no sick time, right?
Right, and to me also the quick turnover, because you don't have no real continuity as to who you work with and
Correct.
what's going on around you.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that, the actual hiring practices of Amazon, based upon exactly what you're talking about right now, the quick turnover time. I think that's very important to understand. But, yes, that's the same.
That in itself is a safety issue because, like I said, the training is inadequate and you're constantly dealing with people that are learning and are making mistakes and are causing, to me, sometimes very unsafe conditions to be.
I think it's by design. I think it's by design that Amazon has these practices because Amazon doesn't want people to stay there long enough to be able to form into a union organized body.
Correct.
And so therefore, we know that some people come in there a week or 2 weeks, get their paycheck, and they're gone.
This is true.
Some people be there a couple of months and they're gone, and they come back a few months later, then they're gone. So the thing is that we do understand that in Staten Island, there's a petition to try to overturn the win in Staten Island
Yes.
because anytime you have a vote or election process, there's something called challenging, and you can challenge those votes. And so I believe that one of the positions that Amazon would take is that, well, this person was an employee at that time, but they're no longer an employee now, so that vote should not count.
Right.
So
Right.
these type of things it makes it kind of short term for you to make a move for a union in Amazon, and Amazon knows that, so they're
Yes.
going to play that game with you
Yes.
because the longevity thing, there's not enough people there that's going to support the union because they're going to be gone.
Correct.
Not because they're fired, but because of other
Yes.
reasons they're going to
Yes.
be gone.
Right. Absolutely. And that's a good point. That's a great point. It is definitely by design. The revolving door, the hiring and firing process.
And I also believe that the cap and pay.
The cap
Oh,
and pay
yeah.
is ridiculous. The cap is ridiculous.
And you know the sad thing about it, they cap your pay, right? Bread's going up, milk's going up, fuel's going up. So they're not thinking about the employees. Okay, let me do something for them. Instead, you know what they do? They'll give you a taco.
No,
Like-
waffles.
A cupcake.
A canned
Ice
soda.
cream, yay.
I don't accept that stuff. I think that's so disrespectful.
I'm with Ty on that. We've
We
talked
talked
about
about
that
it.
That's
before.
horrible.
But
Yeah.
you know,
And they got people lining up like it's a food line.
yeah,
We
exactly.
just talked about
The
that.
thing is, though, what they do
Good
also is do it in the break room because they also don't want the union talk to exist. So they put a manager in the break room, red stripe manager in the break room, and they will cook these waffles. They will cook your hot dogs. They cook
Big
these
smiles.
hamburgers with a big
Smile.
smile, hand you a drink to suppress your progression
Efforts.
and growth
Right. Correct.
and intimidation factor because they're in there on your break time.
But they will not pay you, but they'll play games on the site.
Well, let
Yeah.
me
You can
let
play
me.
a game on break.
You
can
brought a
play
great-
game at
That-
lunch.
You
That's
brought up
correct.
a great.
We are
that's a
grown
good
men
point.
and women.
Let me piggyback off that real quick. As an anti-union campaign, Amazon has spent, I believe, $2 billion.
It's either 2 billion or 2 million, but it might be in a bit. Well, they've spent. I thought it was 2 million, but it might be 2 billion. But they've spent a
Considerable amount of money.
small fortune.
The
To-
money that they're spending on an anti-union campaign, bring these people in from all over the country, having these round tables, they could have gave you a raise and satisfied being suppressed. you.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
You know, but instead of doing that, they want to keep the slave mentality. Unfortunately, y'all, I call it the cotton field. When I go out there and I do my job and I'm picking this cotton out there, and if you don't pick the amount of cotton that's necessary, then you get disciplined. Wow, doesn't that sound like modern day slavery? Sorry.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because those are issues, and I mean, there's so many issues that we can address, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is one of them. They try to appease you with a slice of pizza, but we're gonna
Did I
take
piss
this
somebody
call.
off?
Yes, oh, I hope not. Hello, this is Tracy Stilettos on Genesis Radio with AVP 3 Roundtable Union Talk. Who am I speaking with? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hi. Who am I speaking with? How can I help you?
They're trying to listen to themselves.
Oh.
This is Vinny.
Okay. Oh, hi, Vinny.
Hey, Vinny.
How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Thanks for calling in. You have your radio up?
Yeah,
Yeah, turn it down.
It's delayed, so
Yeah,
I'm already on.
do you have something you want to say, Vinny?
I know like yesterday, I know they've been doing a couple changes, and I've been overhearing on the radio about the pay that they can be giving us more of, and how they're doing these oh, here's waffles and ice cream, and I was trying to say, like, I agree with that instead of paying us more, they try to like give us these little incentives of these like waffles, ice cream, and all these little goody stuff, instead of going to the real issue that we need to be paid more.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we need people like you, Vinny.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, and it's actually shameful on the heels of Ty, you know, that people actually line up and get giddy for this. It's like,
Vinny,
so,
yeah, Vinny, can I ask you a question? Vinny, can you hear me?
Saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you think they give us some steaks and ribeye?
I take my medium, thank
No.
you. Thank you. But yeah, Vinny, yeah, you're absolutely correct. And it's just important for people to be mindful and aware of what's going on and what Amazon is doing in their tactics. So that's why,
Yeah.
we don't want to stand in line for that. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
No, I don't get what it is.
No. All right, but we appreciate you calling in.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have like 9 minutes left for the show.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we have like 9 minutes left for the show. So if there's anyone that wishes to call in, this is the time to call in.
And you can call in. The number is 888-304-4401. We welcome your comments. We welcome your questions. And Vinny, we want to say thank you for calling in and thank you for your input.
Anytime.
All right. You have a wonderful evening.
You too. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So, yeah. That was good. It's just the irony of you bringing that up and people being suckered into like giving a dog a bone, you know.
Now,
But I think they kind of realize because of how inadequately we are paid, stuff like that sometimes means a lot to some of these people because they don't have to pay for lunch.
But the thing
Well,
about it is, how about you have 4 people in your family? You gonna cut that top one in 4 pieces and take it home?
Right. Good point. Good point. Exactly. Good point. It's just, but we're all on the same page with that. And it just still comes back to wages, which is the number one thing on the list for everybody. I think it's ridiculous for anybody to work 10-hour shifts every day and then still have to go and get another job. That is like the young lady when she called. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And Amazon is against anti-union because they don't want to give up their power. They don't want to give up their power. The union, like I said, our fight or the union's fight is not against the workers or the management and their levels. It's just for people to have better work conditions. People have families. They're working 10 hours on their feet. It is a very physical job. That's another thing.
and some are
Regarding
working 12.
safety,
Some
some of them work
hours.
12 hours. It's a very physical job and it will damage your body.
And you only get minimal breaks.
Oh, then that's on the list too, the break times and which that's a whole different discussion because you're right, the break times are not adequate.
An 8-hour job, you're supposed to get 2 15-minute breaks.
That is correct.
So most people are working 10.
On some of us
Where's
at
that
12.
third break?
Where's the third break? And he's right. It's a legal thing. It's like the 2 15-minute breaks. But like I said, that's a different discussion because Amazon actually doesn't even allow the 2 15-minute breaks. So we would have to address that as well. They have dwindled it down to 5 minutes.
We have about 7 minutes left. So what I would like to do, if we can, is start giving some advice to our associate workers, Amazonians. You know, and one of the advices that I would start off with is anytime someone makes an allegation and you go in front of a manager, please have other people with you. Do not go in front of them by themselves. You have the right to have someone with you to make sure that they don't lie on you. The truth and the lie goes a long ways. People will change your story up and say it's something else that you did not even say or didn't do, or didn't mean it to be that way, but they're making it into something else. They will try to find ways to make you look like you did something wrong. So we must come together. So I challenge you. I challenge you to bond together. I challenge you to come together and fight for a cause that will benefit you, that will make your life better, that will make your family's life better. I challenge you to bridge together into one body and unionize and actually be able to be happy about your working conditions. And believe me, they will respect you because they respect me. They do not fire people that they cannot intimidate because they know there's going to be some recall on that. They fire people that don't know their rights. So I challenge you to bond together, to stand up for a faithful cause, a righteous cause, not illegal, and do it the right way. And I guarantee you'll be victorious.
And I also want to add to that, I would hope that the employees at Amazon will stop listening to other employees and find out about the union yourself. There's a phone number for you to call. What's the number?
It's on that paper.
Yep, so there is a number you can call, and the number you can call with questions and or concerns is 570-507-7021. I'll repeat that.
20.
7020. I'll repeat it. 570-507-7020. You can call that number anytime with any of your questions and or concerns, and I do believe it is important to do it that way. I'm gonna, on the heels of Ty, you don't want to have misleading information or misinformation. So if you do have questions, please call that number, and it's private.
And come out when we meet and get educated and find out for yourself.
We need organizing committee members. We need people to come join us so that way we can make this thing happen quicker. The sooner we get the people on board that will stand with us, the sooner we can get the petitions together and petition the National Labor Board to have a union vote and have a union vote and win. We can do it.
And I want to say one other thing on the heels of that. Yes, it's very important that we have a committed union committee members, and we do understand that there's a sacrifice of time. However, change does not happen without sacrifice. So let's just keep that in mind. If you want to end with
I
something.
just say to people, do you really feel that you're adequately represented and that you're adequately compensated? And if you're not, do something about it.
There you go.
We have a National Labor Relations Board behind us. We've been in contact with them. We have done affidavits. They are behind us. They are out of Washington, D.C. There's a regional office in Philadelphia. We are on the phone with them. We have attorneys. We have a whole legal team. We have experts. We have organizers. So please help yourself by being involved with this movement and stop listening to these managers. When they come to you, tell them it's harassment, and at that point they will stop, I guarantee you. It's harassment for them to talk or even mention union to you, let alone ask you about your signature. Now, on that note, if they say your signature, watch what you put your signature on. When they go to have you sign this piece of paper, remember, they told you to watch what you put your signature on.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
And ask
indeed.
yourself, why are they saying that?
Right.
Who are they protecting?
Correct.
But I did ask one of them that was talking about protect your signature. Exactly what does that mean?
Correct. Absolutely. On point. That's the question. Those are the questions that people need to ask.
But they're telling you that to intimidate you.
Right.
Don't be intimidated. You have someone behind you. We will stand behind you. We will stand behind you. I said again, we will stand behind you.
Yes, we absolutely will. Okay, so I don't know where we are as far as time, but
1 minute left.
right. So for those of you, we're going to
Excuse
close
me,
the show.
10 minutes left. Excuse me. My bad.
There's a big difference.
I need glasses, y'all.
It was 9 minutes.
Oh
12
my
minutes
God!
ago.
Oh,
I need
yeah, that's a
glasses,
good
y'all.
question. That's a good thing. So yes, yeah. So don't be intimidated. Everything here that was said is based on being educated. We were educated as well. So again, don't allow employees to come to you with misinformation. You can call the number that I gave you earlier to ask your questions and concerns so that you can get the appropriate and the right answers. But I think one of the most important things here I find is particularly for those who are anti-union, understand that a vote against the union essentially is a vote against yourself. The union is, we are the union, the workers are the union, fighting for better work conditions for all. And I personally do not see how anyone can deny that, but I do understand that people have their reasons, but a lot of it is miseducation or misinformation. So it is important to get the accurate information so that you can make an educated decision and when it comes time to vote.
Yeah. Also, I like to say that some people had some bad experiences with unions. And, I have had bad experiences with unions. What happens with a union sometimes is when a union first starts out, they have true intentions and true purposes. Once that union is in place for many years, then politics start to come involved with the actual members of the union. We call it being in bed with the other people. So from that point there, understand something. You have the right to make a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board against that union for them to stop the unfair practices and the favoritism practices, and they would have to answer. But you have to make that complaint. Just like we vote a union in, if that union does wrong by you or by people, you can make a complaint against that union. Just the same. It's there to protect you under the National Labor Relations Board. It's a win-win scenario. But most importantly, it is a win-win for you if you stand up for yourself. Your life, your quality of life will be better. You won't be as stressed. This job brings stress amongst other things. Standing on your feet for 10 and 12 hours, high blood pressure causes a lot of things, even kidney failure. So you have to understand the health issues. So many people have feet problems, because of the shoes, standing on their feet. Some people have those veins, all kinds of medical issues. We won't get into all of those now, but Amazon knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, think about the older women that you see there, and they won't take a break before it's time. They won't stay away 1 minute after break is over, and they work hard all day long. But still, they've been there for years, but still, they're making that 22.50 an hour. That's horrible.
It's beyond horrible. I think
It is, and you have no incentive to stay.
Wait, no pension,
Right.
no pension, no
yeah.
retirement. Oh, 401k? Yeah, are you kidding me?
A thank you isn't enough.
No.
When
Right.
they do give it, a thank you isn't enough.
But wait a minute. They will put out that $3,000 incentive for you to get hired, though.
They'll do that, but they will also hire outsiders and pay them $4,000 a day.
A day.
A day. You heard that right. They will hire outside consultants for their anti-union campaign and pay them $4,000 per day, which does include expenses per day per consultant.
And they're coming in wearing red coats.
So that tells you the kind of budget, if you will, that Amazon is working with.
Instead of sharing that with the employees
Correct.
who work so hard
Correct.
to make them their money.
Again, with what we're asking, again, is 2% of their profit. It's not even 2%, it's less than 2%. So it is shameful and it is disgraceful. But in order for it to change, there's power in numbers. So we need commitments.
Yeah, we also want to make sure is acknowledge that all of the managers are not bad. All of them are not bad. But the other thing is Amazon is claiming that a PA, process assistant, is not a supervisor. So let's understand that. If you are dictating or keeping track of someone and giving them tasks to do, you are a supervisor. But Amazon is saying, because we filed charges, that a process assistant referred to as a PA is not a supervisor.
That is correct.
Yet they supervise.
Well, they say that they're associate just like the workers, but they're not supervisors. So therefore, if they say to use something pertaining to union, they're not violating the law. But we do know that if Amazon hires anyone, anybody that comes in an outside consulting firm and they are an agent of Amazon, then they are hired by Amazon and they are breaking the law.
That is correct. That is a violation of the law. So they are there to intimidate, which is a violation of the law. The Amazon cannot, by law, intimidate, threaten. I can just go through this whole list of things that are illegal for them to do. They cannot threaten that the facilities will be shut down if a union comes in. It's illegal for them to discuss any union activity with any employee, period. That is the law.
Isn't it a shame that we sound like we out in the field and they're trying to keep us and whip us back into shape by intimidating us? Isn't it a shame? Doesn't it feel like that?
It is
You know,
a shame.
that's crazy.
It is
Rather than help us make you do better, because a happy team is a productive team.
Correct.
A happy team is a productive team. We do the work. We do more than the numbers of work. There's some people that do some crazy numbers and you're still paying the same thing. You know, it's crazy.
Or it's a shame that someone is capped off after 10 years making $22.50, and someone, as we said before, someone applies for the job new and they come in making the same amount. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that.
Absolutely.
You should not be anywhere for 10 years and capped off at $22 an hour.
The other thing, Amazon will give you a $2 raise for a peak season and take it back away. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
They just don't take it. I actually got to go on Amazon. They give you $2, right? They do take it back. But you know what they do? We cannot forget. They get them tacos up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, waffles.
Tacos,
S'mores, cupcakes,
Ice cream, hot dogs, hamburgers.
And, you know, I'm seeing these kids out there playing the games.
And get to play games.
And I'm just looking at them like.
And they give out candy.
Yeah.
They give out candy.
They love candy. Kids love candy.
Kids love candy. Halloween every day.
Grown people take stands.
Well, we
Yes.
need to take chances
Yes.
with ourselves and know that
Yes.
we have to trust in ourselves and come together, unite, and do what is necessary, that we can buy our own candy, our own tacos, our own hot dogs, and don't have to worry about trying to get a ride to work because we can't pay for gas.
Right.
And I also remind people, one thing I was told when I was a teenager, when I first jobbed, a guy always said, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
There you go. Like I said, change doesn't happen without sacrifice.
Stop being afraid.
Stop being afraid.
Absolutely.
Stop being afraid.
You are victorious if you believe in yourself. You will be. We do truly, at this time, have 3 minutes left.
Something you said, Dean. It is some managers. Well, I ain't gonna say some. It is a couple managers who are more than fair.
Oh, they are.
Yes, absolutely,
They are.
100%.
And there are
Yes.
some that if you go to them, and they will make sure you're accommodated.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I will say this, there's some in safety that will make sure that you are accommodated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm glad you brought
Safety
that
is
up.
great.
That's important.
I agree.
That's an
I went to
important
them
point.
before and she shut it down.
Yes, safety
I
will.
respect her.
Yes. So that's a wonderful point to bring up.
We're gonna close out.
Yeah, to
We
end
have
this.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Again, I challenge you to challenge yourself to step up and fight for a better quality of life for you.
And think for yourself. Stop listening to your coworker. Think for yourself.
A lot of times people don't want you to progress, so rather than see you have something good, they throw some bad things out there. Some people are feeling like they're gonna fail, so therefore they don't put out positive things for winning. My father used to say, nothing beats a failure but a try.
All right, so with that, I guess we're going to close out today's show. Just so you
Tomorrow.
guys, we will be there tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow evening between 5 and 6 again.
Same time.
Same time, same place, same number. So if you were not able to join us tonight, hopefully you can join us tomorrow. But with that being said, we appreciate everybody here on this panel. We definitely appreciate Terry Pickering of Gynesis Radio. We want to thank him
Yes,
very
without
much
a doubt, without a doubt.
for allowing us this platform to discuss this very, very important issue. So with that being said, thank you all. Thank you for the calls, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for calling, Betty.
Thank you, caller. All right.
Thank you.